And hello, one and all, and welcome to this early morning edition of my live Monday Night Raw review. We're going to take a look at what took place on last night's episode of Raw, the February 8th edition. I was debating whether or not to go live last night, and based on the nature of what took place on last night's show, I just felt like it would just be easier to do this in the morning, gather my composure, get my emotions in check, because as we all know, last night was an emotional roller coaster ride. Last night, Bryan announced his retirement from professional wrestling, and as a big fan, he is my favorite wrestler, and to see somebody have to step away when they quite weren't, he wasn't ready to. It was just, it was sad, but also, in a way, he will be able to enjoy the fruits of his labor and his future family that he would like to start with Bray and whatnot. So we will get into that towards the end of this review. But this is going to be my overall thoughts and opinions on tonight's episode of Raw. And putting aside, Daniel Bryan's retirement, I thought overall, if I had to grade tonight's episode of Raw, I would give it a C-. Because when this news broke about him retiring, I was initially excited, that he would be appearing on the show. I was hoping that we would hear news that he's going to be returning to the ring. But then the news broke around 1, and it shocked me, as I'm sure it shocked a lot of you out there. And that just led to my mood going into the show being one of very, sadness and being very somber. And but I'm going to try and give you an objective review as best I can. So let's take a look at what took place on tonight's episode of Raw. We kicked things off with the contract signing segment. Stephanie is in the ring, and basically she said it's time to get this contract signed for Fastlane. Dean cuts her off, comes down to the ring, pretty much says, enough talk, let's get to the chase. And I like this. It's like, let's not go on and on and on with a freaking 20-minute promo every single week to open up Raw. So I like the intensity that Ambrose brought. Then Roman Reigns cut her off, and Dean's pretty much saying, I want to finish what started last week with Lesnar giving me that F5. Stephanie's like, no, I'm the one who gives the introductions around here. So, Lesnar will come out when I say he will. And then Brock accordingly made his way to the ring. And pretty much everybody signed the contract on the dotted line. And, Stephanie takes the contract, leaves the ring. And then it's just Ambrose, Reigns, and Lesnar. And, Ambrose is getting in Brock's face again because, Dean's a hothead. That's why we love him. You never know what you're going to get from the lunatic fringe. And, Heyman asks Ambrose to ask his big brother, Roman Reigns, what the difference is between a beatdown from the Authority and a beatdown from Brock Lesnar. And then Lesnar picks up Ambrose, throws him right at Roman Reigns, and then Lesnar picks up the contract signing table, throws it at Reigns. Looks like he hits him in the shoulder, so I'm sure that hurt. Reigns is on the outside. Lesnar picks up Ambrose and hits him with an F5. As Lesnar is walking back to the ring, Triple H appears on the stage, and he just stares down Lesnar. So I actually like this. I thought it was a good way to kick off Raw. Not too much talking. They signed the contracts, got to the point, and then you had you teased some physicality. You did have physicality between all three members of the triple threat match. And then you had Triple H on stage to remind him, hey, this is what you're going to be gunning for at Fastlane. You're going to be gunning for an opportunity to face me at WrestleMania for the World Heavyweight title. So, like the segment, it got to the point, and I thought it was a good way to kick off Raw. From there, however, we saw the 10th match between Dolph Ziggler and Kevin Owens. Now, I like both guys. I really do. But for the love of God, 10th match between these two. I could see 1 or 2 or 3. Or hell, I even threw this idea out on Twitter last night. What if they did a best of 5 or a best of 10 series between them? That would give credence to them having all these matches. But there is no, like, why are we fighting? Where's the promo to set this up? I mean, Owens attacked Ziggler, I believe, on SmackDown in his match against Kalisto. So, but it's just like we've seen this match now so many times that you become desensitized to it. I'm sick of seeing the same matches every single week. It's frustrating. So for this match, I can't really tell you what happened. I'll be honest. I was watching the Penguin game. That was more entertaining than watching this match for the 10th time. Apparently Ziggler rolls up Owens for the win. So Dolph beat Owens now twice. So yeah, whatever. Don't really care about that match. Then we have Charlotte versus Alicia Fox. It was an okay match. I mean, the problem is with the women on the main roster, I feel. There's not a lot of depth if you think about it. I mean, you got Charlotte, you got Bray, you got Alicia, you got Paige, Natalya. I wish they'd use Natty. I mean, where is Natty? I mean, she's just doing random Total Divas matches. It's just like, can we give them a feud, a storyline, something to do? I mean, you have Becky, you have Sasha, but it's just like, hopefully, over time when they call more women up from NXT, there will be, a further increase in the depth of the women's division. And Nikki Bella, who's on the shelf right now, I forgot to mention her. But yeah, there's really not a lot of depth in the women's division at the moment on the main roster. But I think over time, like I said, that will change. The match between Charlotte and Alicia Fox. Like I said, it was an okay match. Charlotte won after she hit the spear on Fox and locked in the figure 8 for the submission. And it was also announced that Charlotte will be defending her title against Brie Bella at Fastlane. Not a match that I particularly care to see. Hopefully, they don't put the title on Brie and they keep it on Charlotte, and they eventually build to that Sasha Banks versus Charlotte match, or what I would like to really see them do. If they're not going to do that match, do the triple threat with Sasha, Becky, and Charlotte. I think they could go out there and tear the house down. So we shall see what happens on the road to WrestleMania. After this, there was actually an enjoyable Miz TV segment that surprisingly I liked. Miz came out and he pretty much was interrupted by Y2J, Chris Jericho, and in the middle of Miz TV, Jericho's like, okay, we're going to stop this. We're going to change this over to the highlight reel. And Miz was like, what the hell are you doing? This is my show. You can't just come on and interrupt me. And it was funny. And then they changed all the stuff in the ring to the highlight reel. And Jericho's like, of course, you can't have the highlight reel without this potted plant. So pretty much Jericho was ragging on The Miz, saying, how he lost to Styles and made fun of The Miz when Styles knocked one of his teeth out on SmackDown. And then Miz came around and, threw it back in Jericho's face and said, well, hey, AJ beat you 2 weeks ago on Raw, so what do you think about that? And Jericho reminded everybody that, we're going to have a second match on SmackDown, and that's where, I'm going to take it to AJ. Eventually, Miz starts beating Jericho down from behind. AJ comes out to help Jericho clear Miz from the ring. And then eventually, I like this, Styles and Jericho looking at each other, and they just start punching each other left and right. I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm so fucking pumped for their second match on SmackDown. And, Miz eventually was able to pull Jericho out of the ring, and Jericho threw Miz over the announce table. And Jericho looked like he was going to get back in the ring to take on AJ, but he thought better of it. He's going to save it for Thursday on SmackDown. So at least for that one match, I will be watching SmackDown. Not sure if I'm going to review it, but I cannot wait for Chris Jericho versus AJ Styles number 2. It should be a tremendous match. Then we had Bray Wyatt versus Ryback. Wasn't really much of a match. Wyatt was able to get the win after, Ryback was looking for the meat hook, but he ran right into Sister Abigail. And after the match, the Wyatt family beat down Ryback. They threw him into the steel steps. So the thing I liked about this was at least the Wyatts are being made to look strong and dominant. Can we please keep that going? The thing I'm worried about with the Wyatts is if you have Bray face Brock at WrestleMania, I'm worried that's a lose situation because they're probably going to have Bray lose. So what we're going to do is we're going to build him up to here, and then at WrestleMania he's going to be, torn back down, and he will have lost his third straight match at WrestleMania. You heard me correct. Third straight. Cena, Undertaker, and probably Lesnar. So that's why I'm not too keen on the match. Now, if they would have Wyatt go over, holy shit. Think of what you could do with that. You could really establish his credibility with a win over the Beast Incarnate. But I just fear that they won't be doing that. Let me know down in the comments below what you think of a potential Bray Wyatt versus Brock Lesnar match. And or you think of the same thoughts I have or something different, just let me know. I'm interested in hearing what you guys have to say. Then we have Titus O'Neil versus Adam Rose. Adam Rose surprisingly rolled up Titus for the win, so the match was really nothing. But, the Social Outcast got a win, so woohoo! Before this match, actually, there was a backstage vignette segment with Dean Ambrose. He says, I'm going back out to the ring, and I want Brock Lesnar's ass. And I don't want you going out there, Roman, to help me. I need to do this on my own. So I was pumped. I was ready to see what Ambrose was going to do. And Dean made his way to the ring, and he pretty much called out Brock. He said, oh, do you have to ask Paul for permission to come out here? And he said, well, maybe Triple H was right. Maybe Suplex City's going a little bit soft, Brock. And, he goes on and on and on. And finally, Brock comes out to the ring. And Brock gets into the ring, and he just starts, beating the shit out of Dean. I mean, he tears him up. He throws him into the barricade, throws him into the ring. But Ambrose keeps fighting after stiff clothesline after stiff clothesline. Brock hits an F5 on him. But, on his way back, walking back up to the ring, or the ramp, Ambrose gives him this look. He's like, come on, you son of a bitch. I'm not done with you yet. I just love the fight, the will, the determination of Dean Ambrose. This guy is awesome. And Lesnar hits another F5. And then while he's about to leave, Roman Reigns makes his way to the ring. And as Lesnar and Reigns are staring each other down, Dean hits Brock in the balls. So another nut shot right to Lesnar. And then pretty much that's how the segment ends. So I liked it. Reigns really, I felt, was a non-factor in this segment. He was just kind of there. But I would love to see Dean Ambrose versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. Much more than Bray Wyatt versus Brock Lesnar at this point. If they went down that route, I'd be perfectly okay. So really good segment. Really good segment. Then we had the Lucha Dragons versus Alberto Del Rio and Rusev. It was good to see the Lucha Dragons back together again with Sin Cara and Kalisto. Sin Cara was on the shelf due to hurting his shoulder, I believe. The match, it was okay. It was an all right tag match. Surprisingly, Kalisto lost to Del Rio after Del Rio hit the double foot stomp off the top rope and got the 3 counts. So I guess that's a way to build credibility for Del Rio heading into their United States Championship rematch at Fastlane. Hopefully they add a stipulation to that match. I mean, I guess it's asking too much because we've seen them in a singles match for how many times. I would like to see maybe a 2 out of 3 falls match, a ladder match, a falls count anywhere match. I don't know, street fight, something. Could we give this match a stipulate hair versus mask? Holy shit, there you go. Just put a stipulation on it to give it some level of importance. Because if you do just another singles match, I know they can have a good match, but the problem is we've seen it too many times. So we'll see what they do at Fastlane. But this tag match, it was okay. It really was. Then we had Sasha Banks come down to the ring and make her way to the commentary table. And pretty much we had the boss on commentary. So that was an A+. Always great to hear Sasha Banks on commentary. And she was out there to watch Becky Lynch take on Tamina. Becky lost after she walked right into a super kick. There was... Sasha eventually, she got up, walked toward the ring, and Naomi started to beat the hell out of Sasha. And then she sent Sasha into the ring steps, and that would eventually, it looked like Becky was almost going to get counted out there. She starts beating the hell out of Naomi, and that's when she walks right back into the ring. Tamina picks up the win, and it was announced at Fastlane that it'll be Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch teaming up, excuse me, to take on the team of Naomi and Tamina. So that tag match will take place at Fastlane. It could be a good match, but yeah, I'm more looking forward to that eventual triple threat match between Charlotte, Sasha Banks, and Becky Lynch. So we will get there, but we just have to get through this Fastlane pay-per-view. Backstage, the New Day, they would have an 8-man, or I believe it was a 8-man, tables tag team match. And they were talking with Mark Henry, and they were like, we need a fourth person. So they had Mark Henry put on the unicorn horn, and Mark was dancing, so he would be their partner to team up to take on the team of the Dudleys and the Usos. And this 8-man tables tag team match was pretty fun, for what it was. The New Day lost after it was pretty chaotic, with all 8 guys in the ring. Mark Henry walked out on the New Day after they were ordering him around. He was like, I don't have to deal with this shit. I'm leaving. I'm done. You guys are on your own. So the match eventually ended when the Dudleys got the tables. The Usos did double super kicks to each member of the New Day. Dudleys do the 3D on Big E through the table for the win. Now, the interesting part after this match was the Dudleys turned heel. The crowd was loving it, so I don't know if they were really heel. They were just being the Dudleys, those damn Dudleys. They assaulted the Usos, and they did a 3D on Jimmy through the table, and they were like, that's it. We're tired of it. We've been losing so much. They just got frustrated, and they snapped. So I'm all for it. Let's see a more aggressive side of the Dudley Boyz, because the Dudley Boyz are legends. They're awesome, and they need to be doing so much more with them than they have been doing. So hopefully this heel turn will be what they need. And then this is going to be the tough part of this review. Then we got to our last segment of the evening. Throughout the night, they were showing all these wonderful clips of Daniel Bryan's, career, him, starting in WWE, his Money in the Bank win, his match with Cena at SummerSlam 2013, the Occupy Raw moment on, that was one of the greatest moments in Raw history. I'll never forget that night. And then clips of him winning his match against Triple H and beating Randy Orton and Batista in the same night at WrestleMania 30. And then Bryan made his way to the ring, and he got a tremendous reaction, and a reaction that he always deserved. Every time he stepped in that ring, the crowds went nuts. It was an honor to see him wrestle. I saw him wrestle multiple times, and every time he would step out there, the roof would just get blown off the place with the yes, yes, yes. And he made his way to the ring, and he pretty much spoke from the heart, and it just shows you how humble this guy is. He pretty much said the reason that he cut his hair, he cut his hair, trimmed his beard off, and he said that he donated his hair to Wigs for Kids, an organization that provides hair to cancer patients for free. So he said that's the most important thing to take away from his retirement speech, was that right there. And that just goes to show you what type of guy he is. He is a nice guy, one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. It was an honor that I had the opportunity to shake his hand and get his autograph. And Bryan, said that there were many tests initially, and the tests were saying that he was okay, but eventually he went to go get further tests, and he said that his brain isn't as good as the doctors initially thought. And pretty much he says he has a family that he would like to start with his wife, Bray. And it's a difficult decision. He wanted to keep wrestling. He loved to wrestle. This was the thing that he loved most in life. But now he has a beautiful wife and will have, even more beautiful children with her. And he lists the people that he had the pleasure of meeting over the years, and Bryan kept going back to the fact that he is grateful for us believing in him. He was our champion. He He was the leader of the Yes movement. He overcame the authority. He overcame the company not wanting to put him in that position. They didn't want him in the 2014 Royal Rumble. We kept saying yes, and yes, and yes, and yes. And CM Punk walked out. Triple H needed an opponent. Yes, yes, yes. Daniel Bryan, the rest is history. He goes on to beat Triple H, like I said, to win the WWE World Heavyweight title on the grandest stage of them all, WrestleMania 30. One of the greatest moments that I've ever watched in professional wrestling. Got to see my hero, Daniel Bryan, standing on top of that mountain. That was his moment. They will never take away WrestleMania 30 from him. That is his crowning achievement in this industry, to work from the bottom, starting to be trained by Shawn Michaels, going all the way up. And it solidified his status, in my opinion, as a legend in this industry. And he said tomorrow he starts a new life, a life where he will not be a wrestler. But that's tomorrow. And tonight in Seattle, he's going to enjoy this one last time. And he gave one last yes chant to end the show. Brie comes out to the ring, gives her husband a hug, and the show closes out. So, what an end for an amazing career. It may not have ended the way that he wanted to, but he will be healthy and happy for the rest of his life, and he will be there to provide for his family. So what a guy. I'm going to miss him. I was really holding out hope for one more match at WrestleMania 32. But that's okay, because I know that Brian's going to go home, and he's going to enjoy the rest of his life. So I'm certainly going to miss him. I'm going to miss my favorite in the ring, the Yes Man, Daniel Bryan. But like I said, I'm still shocked. I mean, the day after, I couldn't believe it when I got the news. I was hoping it wasn't true. It was going to be a work. But just throughout the night, with all the wonderful video packages they put together, everybody was standing on the ramp. Vince, he hugged Vince when he made his way up to, leave Raw, and Stephanie and Triple H were there. The entire roster was there. They were giving him the respect that he deserved. I mean, this guy put his body on the line every night that he stepped in the ring. And like I said, he was our champion. He was the one that we wanted, even though, the higher-ups truly didn't. And he made it. Think about that. He made it. He opened the door for other guys to make it. And for that, Daniel Bryan, I am grateful to have been able to watch you in the ring, and I'm grateful to still be a fan of yours. And I am also grateful that I have been able to meet you. So thank you for everything that you have given to this business. Farewell, my friend, but not so long. Sorry. So yeah, that's my review for tonight's episode of Monday Night Raw. Overall, I would give this episode a C+. And let me know down in the comments section what you all thought of Monday Night Raw. And to end this review, there's only one way possible. Yes. 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 Take care, guys.